Hey guys, it's Mike from MakeTimeOnline, and I just want to show you what has happened to my site speed just from using WordPress Rocket as a plugin. Now, the plugin kind of comes, and as default, it has everything is unchecked, and it kind of walks you through. There is actually in here, there's tutorials on how to get started, how to find the best settings for your site, and just how to measure your site speed as well. So the two things that I've used to measure my speed, this one is recommended by WordPress Rocket themselves, is GT metrics. But the second thing that I've used is actually Webpagetest, and because you can actually, with this one, you can actually measure the mobile speed. So you can see here, this is actually for an iPhone 7. So those are the two that I would recommend to use. I also use inside the platform that I use for my hosting, which is Wealthy Affiliate. They actually do have these tests here as well, which they scan for, which is just basically the same as viewing in Google speeds, Google site speeds, which you can just find yourself as well. So I kind of used this, and as I worked my way through, I just started like checking one thing, pressing save, and then going and checking it again. And I just want to show you the difference that this can make to your overall site speed. So let me just show you this. So with the settings that I currently have on WP Rocket, this is my kind of, you can get a good idea of what your speed is. So desktop looks pretty good, and mobile could definitely be better. You know, you want to try and get it as close to 100 as possible is the best, basically. And just to double check that, I can see actually on desktop, it looks like it's about 9.3 seconds to load, which isn't great. In fact, I think with just my general plugin, I think I had BJ Lazy Load before this, it was around 5 seconds. It was between 4 and 5 seconds for most things. And then mobile, it is now at, that's the wrong one. Mobile, it is at around 2 seconds. I think before it was around 3. So it's definitely improved in mobile, which is kind of why it's good to have these different ways. Because if you look on here, it suggests that mobile is actually not great and desktop is okay. And desktop is pretty good. Whereas I'm not seeing that from when I check in different places, which is why it's good to sort of double check. Now I want to make this really clear. I have no idea what all these techie things mean, to be totally honest. You know, it's like mobile cache. I don't know what all this stuff does. All I'm doing is ticking each one. And as I go through, I tick one and then I go and test. I tick one and then go and test. And if it makes the speed worse, I take it off. And that's kind of what I've done. And I've ended up getting to this stage where I found it's all basically by ticking these boxes here. This is what I have found has been the best settings, and so I can use the lazy load settings as well. Disabled emojis, those don't really make too much difference. Preload, activate preloading, and then I didn't really do anything in advanced rules or database and all of these sort of things. I didn't even use CDN, heartbeat. Of course, you can play around with those yourself. The CDN actually in Wealthy Affiliate, they say not to recommend doing that because it kind of messes up with the hosting. It kind of makes they kind of already have that inside their hosting, apparently. I mean, I don't really get all this techie stuff, like I say. So I just want to show you then it was one thing that I just ticked, and I'm just going to show you how much of a difference that made. It was in file optimization, and I just ticked this box here, and I'm going to show you those changes that it made. So I just click save changes, and then once you click save changes, you just want to make sure that it actually has, just give it a few seconds, make sure it's, you know, those changes have gone ahead. I'm just kind of showing you my process, and here you can see it is now being preloaded, and there's something like 22 pages that it needs to do. So I'm just going to pause and wait for that to all go ahead. Okay, so now all of these pages have been cached, whatever that means. And so now all I do is I go over to my testing and I just retest. So I click retest on that. I'm going to click retest on that. I'm just testing 2 pages there. And again, I'm going to run the retest on mobile as well. I'll do it in 2 places. And then what I'll also do is I'll refresh all of these, which is the same thing as doing it in Google Analytics, basically. And let's see what that comes back with, because it did make a difference to my speed. So as you can probably see, there is a big change. Look at all these green ones that I've done. I didn't actually test these just now, but you can see. And then also if I just go to see mobile speed, then it's 0.621 seconds, 0.26 seconds. That's insanely fast on mobile. 0.49 seconds. That one seemed to be not seeming to play ball that well. And then 2.2 seconds for GT metrics. And I just want to show you the comparison then. Basically, this is what I tested before using WP Rocket. And this is then after. And you can just see instantly, look at the improvement, particularly in mobile speed. I was using, like I said, I was using BJ Lazy Load before. And then also just a comparison of what was before. So it was 4.3 seconds to load on GT metrics before. And then afterwards it was 2.2 seconds. And then mobile speed, you can see it was about 3.5 seconds. And then let me just move my head, and 0.49 or even 0.2 I've got in some of them. And that just kind of shows you the power of just getting that, using the appropriate plugins and things like that, and what a difference that can make. And like I say, I don't understand any of this stuff. I've just literally gone through, tested, click one, change one. But you can see as well, here's the honest truth, I almost cancelled my membership because you get a 14-day trial, and I thought it completely messed up my mobile speed. But then I ended up trying this one. I thought I had already tried it. Maybe I didn't, I'm not sure. But it just shows the importance of actually them. Maybe one of the things that I checked didn't work with checking this one. It's just important to make sure you try as many variations as possible. Tick one, if it reduces the speed, get rid of it. And then kind of add them as you go along and try and get the best speed as possible. And that's obviously going to make a huge difference to user experience. If it's 2 seconds or less, mobile, if it does take 0.2 seconds, so many websites take 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds to load. So if yours is loading like a flash, people are going to hang around and then read the content that you're putting out, which is, at the end of the day, it's the whole point of it. And if you did find that useful, make sure you hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up so that more people can see this video. So I just want to show you what happened to my personal site speed after I used WP Rocket. So before WP Rocket, I had BJ Lazy Load as my Lazy Load plugin, and I got, for my top 10 performing articles and my homepage, I got an overall average of 4.22 seconds for my site speed. After using WP Rocket and trying and testing and doing different things, I did 3 tests on mobile, 3 tests on GT metrics, the same before and after, and I ended up getting 1.58 seconds for my overall speed. That is a change from 4.22 and then a 60% increase to 1.58. Crazy site speed improvement just from WP Rocket. And if you're interested in getting WP Rocket, you can just check the links below, and there's a link for you to get it there.